the Ultra Heavy Beat. A unique concoction comprised of thumping bass fit for the dance floor, distorted guitars wielded as weapons of musical aggression, propagandist lyrics barked by the gruff voice of Captain K, and blippy synths from an era when MTV actually played music videos. The sound has defined KMFDM for its nearly 30-year run, bringing an accessibility to a genre notorious for its off-putting nature, but it's proven both a blessing and a curse, providing conceptual continuity that thrills longtime fans with each successive release, while serving as a cage that the band occasionally fails to break free from. Their 18-album-strong discography is filled with more than a few uninspired in-betweeners. With such a well-defined formula to serve as a blueprint, KMFDM tends to bottom out at mediocre rather than outright bad, but they're at their best when pushed forward by enthusiasm and new ideas that bend the boundaries of their well-defined industrial sandbox. KMFDM's post-Reformation period saw some questionable material as the band tried to regain their footing. They imitated their former selves on Attack and wildly raged against the Bush administration on World War III while forgetting to differentiate their songs from one another. Lately, however, they seem to be on a bit of a roll. The band demonstrated an uncharacteristic flirtation with experimentation on Blitz, and though a few too many of their trials fell flat to call it a true success as a whole, it was refreshing once you gave it a couple of spins and looked under the surface. That attitude carried forth into WTF, where the band continued to refine their fusion of ultra-heavy beat with pop influence to create one of the most solid collections of tracks they'd yet produced. Kunst is a different beast from its two predecessors. The pop stylings have been toned down somewhat. Slower, sultry numbers like Real Thing and Take It Like a Man are nowhere to be found. Well, unless you count that short bit of Hello where it pretends to be a slower song until abruptly blowing your speakers out about halfway through. The band seems to have tired, at least temporarily, of the experimental phase. The sound of their latest release rings distinctly of old-school KMFDM, packed with aggression, uncompromisingly retro synths that lack some of the Euro-influenced sleekness sneaking into their recent work, and fast-paced headbangers nearly start to finish. Kunst fits right in with the band's Golden Age albums of Kneel and Extort. More importantly, its quality is more than worthy of standing beside them. What Kunst sacrifices in variety over the band's more recent work, it gains in cohesion and flow, qualities often lacking in the band's schizophrenic catalog. KMFDM's revolving door of guests may have slowed considerably over the years, but this has produced a band better able to put out an album rather than a collection of tracks. KMFDM's ability to continually make self-referential humor entertaining has long been one of my favorite things about them. I appreciate a bunch of angry-sounding dudes that don't take themselves too seriously. It makes the whole ridiculous affair more fun. On that note, the title track that opens the album is a joy, and will be a real treat for anyone who has followed the band for any length of time. A biography in musical form, the track is packed with lyrics, song titles, in-jokes, and other references to the band's past, including a recognizable riff or two. The album only gets better from there. Quake begins with that standard KMFDM trope of a politically influenced soundbite, then pounds its way into your eardrums with some of Captain K's more enthusiastic barking of late, backed by stabbing synths and guitars that remind one of a jackhammer blessed with particularly good rhythm. Quake vies with the tracks Hello and Pseudocide for the title of most aggressive piece on the album, giving you plenty of options for cramming walls of distortion into your brain. The Next Big Thing blends just a little southern twang into the KMFDM beat machine, making for an undeniably strange yet compelling mixture.
Makes you harder, gives you speed. Show no mercy, have no fear. The ultra heavy beat is here.
Pussy Riot probably won't bring many surprises, being a familiar mid-tempo Lucia-led political anthem, but it sure is catchy. It's also one of at least a couple songs other than the title track to blend in small bits of KMFDM's lyrical past into the mix, which is a nice touch. Animal Out, The Mess You Made, and I Heart Not close the album with three of its strongest tracks, avoiding the end-of-album lull KMFDM have fallen victim to before. Animal Out in particular is a new one for the band Best Of list, an insidiously catchy mix of Lucia's seductive swooning, toe-tapping beats, and memorable refrains.
That sound you make.
It's heartening that a band older than I am can still sound like they're having this much fun making the same music they've been making for nearly 3 decades now. In fact, that's a good word to describe the tone of Kunst. Fun. Perhaps it's colored by starting off with such a goofy in-joke of a lead song, but this newest effort seems a little lighter than some of their other recent material. It may not be quite as musically interesting as a result, but it's hard to argue when these 10 tracks are so good just by letting the band be themselves. These old dogs haven't put this big a smile on my face in quite some time. On Kunst, KMFDM does what they do best. Rock out with a wink and a nod.